Thank you, Vinnie. Appreciate the opportunity. Always great to reconnect. We've known each other for a number of years, and now here with my latest mission at this company called Origina. Let me put this on slideshow mode so we can talk about this. So yes, appreciate the opportunity. Great to be here, Vinnie. Just a high-level overview before I get into Origina. Origina is a third-party support provider for IBM and HCL software products. We provide support and maintenance for these products. Think about within the Passport Advantage family of products. Think about IBM DB2, Informix, Domino, MQ, FileNet, Cognos, Tivoli, Rational, the list goes on. So we provide third-party support for each of these product lines. And the way we do it, I will share with you in a little bit here. But let me start with this. Why does Origina exist? What is our mission? Our mission, Vinnie, is to put the customer back in control of their IBM and HCL roadmap. We want to remove the complexity of keeping your systems running smoothly and in compliance. And the way we do that is by providing a concierge level type of support, a very intimate level of support that involves anticipating our customer needs even before them asking, right? It's that.
So Harry, you mentioned HCL. These are the products they bought from IBM 3-4 years ago.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. So the HCL set of products are the ones that they bought from IBM. So at a high level, third-party support, the way it works, Vinnie, we took the old traditional model of level 1, 2, 3, and we turned it on its head. So IBM customers have access direct access to expertise or IBM experts with an average of 15 years of experience right away. And that's what we mean by intimate support. So I'll go through that in detail, but that's what Origina stands for. Now, why is it relevant for IBM customers? What is it that Origina can help with? If you think about the challenges that a typical IBM customer faces, right? These are the typical conversations we have with IBM customers. Why do I need to pay extra to support my older versions? I have a lot of legacy applications, but if I need to get full support, I have to pay a premium to get that support. Or I have my environment, I have to keep it running smoothly and in compliance, and want to make sure that that I'm not at risk of downtime. And in order to do that, I need support at the right time. And in order to get that, I need access to the right expertise. Not only access, but I need fast access to the right experts, right? But in order to get that, it's high and rising cost of support. And what value am I getting back for my maintenance and support dollars that I pay IBM?
And most of the products you mentioned date back to what, 80s, if not the 70s?
90s, 80s, goes back to 70s. You're absolutely right. Think about the relational database time back in the day, right? So these are products over time that have matured and fully functional, but the focus now that IBM has is different, and hence some of these products have not have not kept up with the latest and greatest innovation. So that's one of the big challenges IBM customers have, is what value am I getting? And not only that, Vinnie, it's my environment changes very fast. It's not only just the applications. What about my database? What about my operating systems? What about my hardware? So the interoperability challenges are also a big part of an IBM customer mindset, right? How do I keep them all in sync and running without having to upgrade? Because the default is upgrade just to keep it all in sync. You don't have to do that. But anyway, so the interoperability piece is big. And when IBM starts selling or divesting their products to other companies, it does pose a risk because of there could be gaps in the knowledge transfer and things may not be clear. And there's a certain time frame that customers need to go through in order to make sure that they are taken care of from a support maintenance perspective. And this is a common scenario every time you divest or sell off your products to other companies. So that's a big, that's a top of mind challenge as well. And what about the tickets that I've put in that just don't get resolved or resolved quickly, and sometimes they languish for months because of the old traditional model?
Harry, vendors like to gild customers with the term technical debt.
Yes.
I like to tell vendors, they paid you for so long. What about your debt? Where are the enhancements? Where is the smooth support and all that? So it's quite a racket, actually.
Without a doubt, right? What are we getting for that money is the bottom line. If I'm paying you maintenance support fees annually, I expect two things. I expect innovation in my product, and I expect good support every time something breaks. And if I'm not getting either one of those, or poor value for either one of those, then what's the point? So that's why Origina exists, is helping customers, IBM customers, take back that control. And again, proud to be the #1 third-party support provider for IBM and HCL software products globally. Been recognized by industry analysts over the years. But again, it goes back to that intimate support model we talk about. But what does that mean? As a result of that model, Vinnie, it's superior SLAs. When I talk about SLAs, you'll see that for priority 1, priority 2 type tickets, for example, we will get back within 30 minutes, guaranteed. We talk about the direct access to some of these who we call global IBM experts. These are people in many cases who've been for, since the 90s, 80s, even 70s. In some cases, these are the experts who've written the code in the first place. It is access to that kind of expertise. And of course, all of that at half the cost. And that's where the significant cost savings kick in for these companies. But that's what we mean by software support on your terms at the right price point. Does that make sense, Vinnie? Any questions before I move on?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Tell us more. Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm asking.
Here, some of our clients, right? As you can see across the globe, some big names. I'm sure you recognize many, if not most of them, globally, across industries. So this is not pertaining to one industry, but it is across industries. Global 500, Fortune 500, Global 100 names as well. So very significant growing list of clients that have entrusted their critical IBM and HCL applications to Origina. And I'll share with you some of these stories as we go along.
Harry, you are based in Ireland?
The US, yes. We, as a company, we're headquartered in Dublin, Ireland. The North American operations, we recently opened our office in Plano, Texas, and that's where we are headquartered for North America. Okay.
Great, near where I went to school.
Oh yeah, you told me. You went to school at Dallas-Fort Worth.
At TCU in Fort Worth, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just to give you a quick feel for some of the numbers, Vinnie, over 125 enterprise customers globally that I mentioned to you, including all those regions that you see there, with over 600 IBM software product experts, or global, we call them the GIEs, who support those 125 enterprise customers globally. I mentioned briefly the resolution and response rate, or the SLAs, 99% resolution rate, 99.6% in terms of our response rate. So very proud of that, thanks to our rockstar experts who not only respond quickly, but resolve complete and total resolution of every issue that comes our way. It's a 24/7, 365, follow the sun model, 30-minute response times. Again, these are These are levels of service that IBM customers have forgotten. they don't even realize that they can get this level of response rates and resolution times. But that's what our model allows us to do. As I said, mentioned by industry analysts, including Gartner, since September of 19 in their market.
This is just your piece of the budget, right? In the other third-party markets, we've seen the total savings are actually much higher, right? Because if you solve tickets quicker, your level 2 support goes down, stuff like that. I'm sure you've seen other ancillary benefits. Your customers have seen some other benefits.
Absolutely. I still believe that the 50% that we talk about or that customers receive is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other efficiencies that form what I call beneath the waterline, so to speak, in terms of faster resolution, not having to upgrade, for example, is a big one, right? The cost avoidance of an upgrade for many companies could go into millions of dollars when you don't have to. And if the sole reason to upgrade is just to stay supported, our message is very simple. Don't upgrade when there's a clear business reason and a clear and a compelling ROI, because it's not cheap to upgrade. And think about the disruption, think about the risk. It's got to be worth it. So that's one category that just comes on top of my mind, just over and above the 50%. But what about the time? What about the efficiencies? Every time that you talk in the traditional support model, you have to go level 1, level 2, level 3. You have to explain your case over and over again. You've got to escalate when something is not being responded to. All of those inefficiencies go away. You don't have to go hunt for solutions online. You don't have to go to many knowledge portals. So we take away all that because you have access to the right expert for your product, and that person is the go-to person who can help you. So your teams get freed up. You free up people, time, and money to invest in areas that actually move the needle for your business, right? Projects that can increase revenue, decrease cost, take market share from competition, rather than just keeping the lights on and taking care of your legacy applications. So third-party support with Origina becomes that kind of a safe haven. Does that make sense? It's a bigger pie than just 50%.
It is, and compared to the application third-party support, because you have the infrastructure layer, you affect more of the organization. So that's even more.
Exactly. And I think, so many companies have been benefiting from that kind of a model where they are able to think about T-Mobile or Pfizer, for example, or Valvoline. These are companies that have massive transformational projects. So you don't want your best and brightest people tied up just keeping the lights on. You want people out there developing and focused on strategic and digital initiatives that's going to move the company forward.
So DSCH, I presume, is Deutschland, Austria?
Yeah, that's the DACH region, yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'll have to clarify that in the next version here, but yes. So let me talk just a little bit about the philosophy here. I think I covered some of it as we are talking here, but our service philosophy is built on the premise that you should, as a customer, you should be in control of your software roadmap, not IBM. And we want to be that bridge for companies that are on their way to digital transformation. Going back to my earlier point, you don't want to be bogged down by legacy products, and you want to make sure that your resources are free so you can invest in new platforms and technologies. So companies that are wanting to do that, we become a bridge. We become a safe haven for those companies where they can leave all the running of those legacy applications to us while they focus on other things. And the way we do that is in threefold, right? One is we not only protect your IBM system or IBM software investments by not having to, for example, not having to upgrade if there's no business case to do so. You want to protect that investment that you've already made. You've perhaps spent millions of dollars in your current IBM system, so protect it. But not only from a business standpoint, software investment standpoint, I'll go a little more in detail, but we protect you from a security perspective as well. We have a layered approach to security, a very more comprehensive security strategy, which is more than just a checkbox or a patching strategy. So suffice to know that business investment is protected, you're protected technically as well. And the second part is, if you have those systems in place that are running smoothly and over the years, very great stable core systems, we help maximize the life and value of those systems. And the way we do that, Vinnie, is by consulting or helping you with interoperability expertise. We can sit down with your team and think about how can we extend this or consult with your teams the strategy to maximize the life of what you already have in place. And if your teams want, or if you want enhancements to your current core IBM software products, including feature enhancements or any other specific capabilities that you don't have, that you want to get, but you don't want to go through a massive upgrade to get all that, we provide that as well. So protecting and extending and enhancing. Any questions on this, Vinnie?
You mentioned you have the best experts going back to the 70s and so on. How labor intensive is your model?
It's a remote model, right? Primarily, it's a remote models where you have access, who we assign what we call a global IBM expert to you, and they become responsible and they own the product. They become part of your team, so it's almost like an extended team of IBM global experts at your service anytime something happens, or ongoing strategy and consultation. So labor-wise, here's I think many of these products seldom break, right? These are very solid products, but the biggest benefit that Origina IBM customers get is access to this kind of advice, guidance, and of course, if anything goes wrong, we're always there to fix it for you. But above and beyond that, we actually encourage our customers to take us up on strategy sessions, which I'll go through. There's as part of the core model, you get access to these experts. So it is intensive from that perspective, but we take out all the overheads of we're a remote model, so there's no overhead associated, but we can provide on-premise support as well, or on-site support as well. Does that give you a feel? It's more intensive from, we want to be part of your strategy and planning and part of your roadmap while we take care of things that break as well. So it's not just call us when something breaks, but we want to be a partner with you.
Okay.
So why do companies switch to Origina? I think we talked about it. The most obvious one, one of the primary reasons, of course, is the savings. Why am I paying all this money, right? A typical IT budget, 90% of a typical IT budget goes towards keeping the lights on, depending on the study, right? But if you can free up 10, 20 points of that, and one clear way is the support and maintenance you pay for major vendors, including IBM. So there's significant cost saving, and we talked about this, Vinnie. It is above and beyond the 50%, which is just the tip of the iceberg. So there's a lot of savings there to be had. Support for all versions, very important, right? You should get support and run the version, and you should decide who gets to support at what price point. So we take care of all of that. We support all versions of the IBM software as long as you need it. And if you're transitioning off to a new product, we can help with that as well. But you don't have to upgrade. This is a key point. You don't have to upgrade if you just to stay supported. That's the key. And then the service part we talked about, minimum of 15 years, and we work closely and over time. And you're right, in some cases, these are the people who wrote the original code, right? And they've written books on some of these products and databases that IBM has. So that is the caliber of expertise that we have.
Okay.
So very quickly, Vinnie, what comes as part of that package? So for 50% off, what do I get? We talked about that. Right off the bat, full support, all versions, we take care of it. You, of course, get a 24/7, 365 follow the sun model. We talked about direct expertise to IBM experts, access to IBM experts. And the reason the model works is because when we assign a global IBM expert to you, they own it. They will manage it to complete and total resolution. There's no more, this is not my thing, or you did something in your code and you got to go back to the vanilla code, nothing of that. So we just take on ownership and we want to resolve it. And that's built into the service philosophy. We talked about the security. This you get right outside, out of the box is consultation and approach to a layered approach to security. So our security team can work with our IBM customer security teams and figure out the best security strategy for them. And as part of that offering, as part of the core support offering, we provide what are called vulnerability advisories. So you can go into our portal, you can see your products, you can see what advisories are relevant to you. So it's a more proactive approach than the classic traditional patching model, which I believe is never applied. It's never relied upon and never applied. It's the traditional model that goes away. So we take care of you from security. Of course, we have to think about all the names there that you saw on those logo slides, right? How important is security for all of them, and they will. They all became confident that they can do it, and hence they are our clients. Meet the expert consultations goes back to your original point, Vinnie, how labor intensive. We provide, as part of the 50% model, every quarter, half a day strategy session with the global IBM experts. Doesn't matter, you don't have to have that particular product under Origina support. You can say, I'm planning to upgrade, I need some consultation advice on how to do it, or I need to build certain feature set, or whatever it is, take us up on it. We'll find the right person, but you get 4 hours of complimentary strategy. This is, as one client said, top consulting advice without having to pay top consulting dollars. That's the level of these people. Again, we talk best practice advice, guidance, the service transition reviews. When you decide to come to Origina, of course, we sit down with you, we cut your license estate, your product estate, we tell you what is possible, what is not. So we guide you, we hold your hands along the way, and you see the benefits on the right? Savings is an obvious one. You avoid millions in forced upgrades. Of course, resolution times reduce your operational costs. We talked about avoiding consulting costs when you can have these people consult with you. At the end of the day, it's all about reducing, save money, get better service, reduce risk, and invest in areas that actually grow the business. That's what this model allows. Okay, so tailored support. Let me start with this. Tailored support is what you can get for an additional cost. So this is above and beyond the core support that you get. You can get some vulnerability security solutions. We can provide the solution architecture, optimization, best practice advice, guidance, interoperability. We talked about that. On-site support. If your team deems important that we be on-site, we can provide that as well. License audit, entitlement validation will make sure that you're in a more offense and a proactive position when it comes to audits and the threat of audits. And you see all the benefits on the right-hand side: protecting your investment, accessing the expertise, maximizing your ROI, etc. A quick story. Again, this is one customer. This is the core of the philosophy, just to give you a sense for what is it that we do. This is the spirit in which we operate, or our experts operate. They don't have to be within our product, but if there's something we can dive in and help out within that environment, in this case TIAA, they had to, or Origina was able to create a new feature because IBM's response was they had to upgrade to perform the same type. They didn't even have that product under our support, but our team just dives in, looks at it, creates the new feature, and guess what? Of course, because over time now they've brought that product to us as well for support. But this is just to give you a feel for the service philosophy and the spirit under which we operate. We talked about some of these: minimum 15 years. laser focus on great quality, striving for excellence, getting the right people, providing the right resolution times, and at the right response rate, just the cost. So that's the Origina story, Vinnie. Any questions? I don't want to go into too much detail after this, but there's a deeper dive we can go into in subsequent sessions.
This is a very good first presentation. Very good.
Thank you, Vinnie, and appreciate your advice and